Imagine walking down an endless corridor, where the doors behind you close one by one without warning. Each step you take takes you into unfamiliar territory. The floor feels the same, but the air is different. The silence is deeper, and what was once comfortable no longer fits. The strange thing is that the further you go, the less you feel like you belong in the world left behind. It's as if an invisible veil has been ripped away, and you're stepping into a frequency few can tolerate. And the truth is, few truly endure, because there's something Dolores Cannon always said: the hidden signs of the fifth dimension don't appear to everyone. They are reserved for those who carry a silent mission, those known as the chosen ones. Perhaps you've felt it without knowing how to name it, that feeling of estrangement, as if your soul were living in a parallel reality, while the world seems increasingly lost in its own darkness. It's not madness. It's a planetary transition, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'll reveal the 8 hidden signs that prove your soul has already crossed the veil of the old reality and is vibrating at a higher frequency, attuned to the energy of the fifth dimension. Signs that transform doubts into answers and transform loneliness into expanded consciousness. And before we move on, tell me in the comments, have you noticed these subtle changes? Have you ever noticed that feeling of no longer belonging to your surroundings? And where in the world are you watching from? Because here, every word spoken echoes in many hearts, every experience connects awakened souls, and your story could ignite the spark of awakening in someone still lost in the frequency of old Earth. And if something I say here awakens a dormant memory, if it touches the depths of your soul in the fifth dimension, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because you are not alone. Each video is a reminder of your spiritual mission. Each word is a key to unlocking what the world has hidden from you. And now, let us go through together what almost no one survives: the hidden signs of the soul's awakening. And the first key to crossing the veil begins now. Have you ever noticed how suddenly everything around you began to lose its meaning? Places, conversations, situations, things that once filled your routine now feel empty, almost lifeless. This happens because when the soul awakens, the reality of the third dimension no longer nourishes its essence. Dolores Cannon explained that the fifth dimension is not a physical place, but a spiritual frequency that few can access. And those who feel this first are always the chosen ones, those who carry a greater sensitivity and a much deeper spiritual mission. It's no coincidence. It's a silent calling that comes from within. This calling doesn't come with obvious signs. It appears as small daily annoyances, that constant discomfort of being surrounded by superficialities, that growing desire to get away from the noise and hustle and bustle. And the most curious thing, the people around you don't seem to understand what's happening to you, but deep down, your soul already knows. You are crossing the veil, contacting the first hidden signs that indicate the beginning of spiritual awakening and elevation to the fifth dimension. And ignoring this calling would be like trying to fit into a suit that no longer fits. Dolores Cannon said in her regressions that these souls were trained before incarnating. They chose to come here, accepting the challenge of maintaining their light in a dense world, even knowing that at some point the call of the new Earth would arrive. And it always does. Sometimes it's dissatisfaction at work, sometimes a feeling of no longer belonging to certain social circles. But the effect is always the same: the beginning of spiritual realignment and the deconstruction of the old identity that was forced to adapt to a world that never reflected its true frequency. When you realize this calling, everything begins to change. It's common to seek answers in books, videos, and deeper conversations. It's the natural impulse of the soul's awakening. You need to understand what's happening to you. And then, like a magnet, the right information arrives. Content about the fifth dimension, planetary transition, quantum leaps. Everything begins to appear before you. Nothing is random. These are signs from the universe, testing your perception, verifying whether you're ready to recognize your spiritual journey. And do you know the most beautiful thing about this process? Little by little, fear gives way to curiosity. Doubt transforms into clarity. That feeling of emptiness is filled with a peace that's hard to explain. This is because your elevated frequency begins to vibrate more strongly, and you feel like you're returning home, even without leaving your current location. Spiritual transformation isn't just a pretty idea, it's real, experienced in the daily lives of those who cross over to the fifth dimension. And once you feel it, there's no turning back. This is where many choose to ignore the call, but you know that's not the case for you. If your soul vibrates reading these words, it's because you already recognize the spiritual codes engraved within your being. You are part of a group that awakens first, senses first, and guides first. You are part of the awakening of the chosen ones, who are helping to anchor the fifth dimensional energy on Earth. And everything you felt so far was just the beginning, because what comes next is even deeper. And now, let's dive together into the next hidden truth. Perhaps you've noticed that the world outside seems increasingly chaotic. News that once went unnoticed now carries a strange weight. Dolores Cannon warned that the collapse of the old world would be inevitable during the planetary transition. But for those already living in the fifth dimension, chaos isn't frightening. It's confirmation that everything is realigning. The chosen see this clearly, while for many it's the end. For those who have awakened, it's merely the crumbling of what was never true. This collapse happens in layers. First, you notice the external collapse, institutions crumbling, systems that once seemed indestructible beginning to fail, and then, most importantly, the internal collapse. You begin to question everything you've been taught as truth. Fear loses its power. Guilt ceases to manipulate. Dolores Cannon explained that this collapse is the harbinger of the collective quantum leap, where only awakened souls can maintain balance amid the vibrational collapse of the old world. That's why those already experiencing this process view everything with a certain detachment, while others despair with fear of the future. The chosen ones feel a strange inner peace. It's not passivity, it's profound understanding. An understanding that things must fall apart to make room for the new earth. Their mission is not to save the old world, but to help anchor the new consciousness, living in practice the spiritual codes that sustain the fifth dimension. This realization completely transforms how you react to the outside world. Trivial discussions lose their meaning. You find it increasingly difficult to remain trapped in consumption patterns, toxic routines, and control systems. It's as if you're in a game where most people follow outdated rules, and you've already discovered the secret code to transcendence. Dolores Cannon said, "This is the greatest challenge for the chosen, maintaining serenity while everything around them falls apart." It's common to feel a certain isolation at this time. Many won't understand your calm amidst the chaos and will even question why you don't care anymore. But within you, certainty grows. You understand that a spiritual transformation is underway and that everything that is crumbling truly needs to disappear. This is the price of awakening, losing illusion to gain freedom, leaving behind what was comfortable to embrace what is true. And when this key flips, even life's challenges take on new meaning. You stop seeing problems as punishments and start seeing them as portals of expansion. With each external crisis, your soul recognizes the opportunity to further raise your vibrational frequency. And without you realizing it, that world collapsing before your eyes no longer governs you. It merely signals that your path is now different, and it has already begun. When the soul crosses the veil and begins to vibrate in the fifth dimension, the body inevitably responds. Dolores Cannon spoke about this very clearly. The process of spiritual awakening doesn't just happen mentally, it manifests physically. And this is precisely why many of the chosen experience strange symptoms that doctors can't explain. A fatigue that won't go away, localized pain, sudden dizziness, All of this is part of the adjustment to the higher frequency that your body is learning to sustain. Perhaps you've experienced this before, waking up more tired than when you went to bed, feeling a pressure in your chest for no logical reason, or even alternating between moments of extreme peace and intense emotions that seem to arise out of nowhere. These are called ascension symptoms, subtle but powerful signs that your energy field is undergoing a process of spiritual cleansing. Dolores Cannon explained that these symptoms appear because old density needs to be released so that new energy can establish itself in the physical body. And it's not just physical symptoms. The expansion of consciousness also causes emotional changes. You may notice moments of sudden irritation, unexplained tears, or extreme sensitivity to the environment and people. All of this is the result of the vibrational adjustment that occurs when your soul is already attuned to the energy of the fifth dimension. But your body is still adjusting to this new state. It's like a spiritual upgrade. Not everything works perfectly right away, but it's a clear sign of evolution. It's also important to observe how certain foods, environments, and even people begin to cause discomfort. What once seemed harmless now weighs you down, drains your energy, and creates discomfort. This is your body telling you, you no longer belong to this frequency. Dolores Cannon emphasized that signals from the universe often manifest through these sensory changes. The body itself becomes a spiritual radar, indicating what fuels your spiritual mission and what blocks your growth. But be careful. It's not about striving for perfection or living in isolation. It's about learning to listen to your body, respecting its limits, and prioritizing environments, foods, and habits that support your elevated consciousness. Small daily practices help this process, such as outdoor walks, sunbathing, conscious breathing practices, and more natural eating. Dolores Cannon said that the soul in the fifth dimension needs an aligned body to manifest its maximum potential here on Earth. As time passes, you'll notice these symptoms begin to ease. Your body adapts, your mind calms, your heart finds peace. And what once seemed strange becomes a precious indicator of spiritual alignment. The symptoms of awakening no longer frighten you and begin to be seen for what they truly are, living proof that you're traveling a path reserved for the few, a path from which there's no turning back. There's an inevitable moment in spiritual awakening when you feel everything around you begin to unravel. Dolores Cannon called this the cleansing phase, when whatever doesn't support your high frequency simply crumbles. And often, this is accompanied by losses, friendships that drift away, relationships that no longer flow, environments that begin to suffocate you. For the chosen, this isn't a punishment. It's a clear sign that spiritual transformation is in full swing. Your first instinct might be to resist, trying to hold on to what no longer vibrates at the same frequency, but soon you realize what goes away makes room for the new. It's like cleaning out an old house to let the light in. And it's not just about people, it's about old versions of yourself that need to be left behind. Dolores Cannon said that the quantum leap requires inner space, and only when we let go of the old can we access the energetic portals that lead to the fifth dimension. This detachment also occurs in small habits. Things that once distracted you now seem empty. TV shows, certain movies, social media filled with negativity. Everything starts to feel too shallow. Pleasure migrates to simple moments, watching the sunset, listening to birdsong, feeling the energy of nature. You stop seeking instant dopamine and start nourishing your soul. This is the direct effect of the spiritual realignment that the chosen ones experience. Don't be surprised if, at times, you find yourself missing what you're leaving behind. Dolores Cannon always emphasized, the ego clings to the familiar, even when it no longer serves. Therefore, some cycles may repeat themselves until you understand the universe's invitation. But the faster you let go, the lighter you feel. And the more you accept, the more hidden signs appear, showing that you are exactly where you should be, moving forward on the journey toward a new earth. Simple practices can help you navigate this process more smoothly. Keeping a journal, doing short meditations focused on letting go, or even ritualizing this phase by burning letters or symbolic objects is a powerful way to signal to the universe that you're ready for an expansion of consciousness. Dolores Cannon said that the universe responds strongly to inner clarity. So the more you choose to let go of the old, the faster the new manifests. Over time, you realize that letting go is liberating. What seemed like loss becomes space, and that space is filled with peace, clarity, and alignment. It's when you stop chasing things and begin to attract what's truly meant for you. This is what awakening the chosen is, a path where what's lost is weight, and what's gained is freedom to live in the fifth dimension. Amidst the turmoil of the external world, something becomes even more evident to the chosen: the absolute importance of inner peace. Dolores Cannon has always emphasized that when you begin to vibrate in the fifth dimension, your presence impacts everything around you. You not only feel the spiritual transformation within yourself, you begin to transform environments, energies, and even other people with your frequency. But for this energy to be clean and powerful, it is necessary to protect your peace as your most precious asset. You may have noticed that when your energy is low, everything seems to fall apart more easily. Situations become heavier, people more irritating. Everything seems to drain you for no apparent reason. This happens because the further you advance in spiritual awakening, the more sensitive you become to the energetic fluctuations around you. Dolores Cannon explained that inner peace is like a vibrational shield, a natural protective field for those already living in the fifth dimension. Therefore, neglecting your peace is like leaving the door open for chaos to enter. Protecting your own energy isn't selfish, it's a necessary practice to fulfill your spiritual mission. When you're at peace, your elevated frequency acts as a true beacon in the midst of the vibrational storm of the ancient world. This is when your light becomes healing not only for you, but for everyone around you. Dolores Cannon said this is the most silent and powerful role of the chosen ones. Healing without words, only by presence, anchoring fifth dimensional energy through a clean energy field. Therefore, daily habits become part of your mission. Choosing moments of silence, conscious pauses, and moments of connection with nature isn't a luxury. This is an energetic strategy. Practices like deep breathing, grounding, walking barefoot, sunbathing, or simple gratitude rituals become real tools for vibrational preservation. Dolores Cannon taught that when you stay aligned, the universe responds more quickly to your hidden signals and opens paths more fluidly. And of course, it's also essential to learn to say no, limiting your access, distancing yourself from toxic environments, and avoiding idle chatter. It's all part of the process. You didn't come to please everyone. You came to sustain a frequency that the world needs, but few can maintain. And this requires daily choices. Ascension symptoms diminish when you prioritize your peace, because your body and soul stop carrying the weight of external energies and begin to function in balance. Over time, you realize something incredible. The world may be collapsing, but your peace is not. You begin to live on the new earth even before it fully exists on the physical plane. And your presence becomes a living reminder that the collective awakening is underway. By protecting your peace, you protect your purpose and help accelerate the planetary transition. This is where the true strength of the chosen manifests itself. Healing in silence, anchoring the unseen, maintaining balance when the entire world loses control. There comes a moment in spiritual awakening when nature ceases to be just a beautiful setting and becomes a living sanctuary. Dolores Cannon said that in the fifth dimension, the earth communicates in ways that the sleepers don't perceive. But for the chosen, everything gains a voice. The sound of the wind becomes a response, the birdsong becomes a signal, the sea becomes medicine, It is the energy of the fifth dimension manifesting in its purest form through the very essence of the planet. Perhaps you've noticed this too. That growing urge to escape the city, to avoid crowded places, to trade concrete for forest, noise for silence. Dolores Cannon explained that this is one of the clearest hidden signs that your soul is raising its frequency, the almost instinctive call to return to its origins. It's not escape, it's reconnection. And it's in this reconnection that true spiritual transformation happens, silent, profound, healing. Nature doesn't just soothe, it reprograms. Every contact with a river, every walk among the trees, every sunset observed in silence is an energetic upgrade. The body relaxes, the mind quiets, and the soul remembers who it is. This is why many consciousness-expanding practices take place on nature retreats. Dolores Cannon asserted that the new earth already exists vibrationally, and each time you connect with nature, you access small fragments of that reality. Sensitivity expands to such an extent that even the moon's cycles begin to affect your energy. You feel the changing seasons more intensely, noticing details that previously went unnoticed. It's as if you're rediscovering the world with clearer eyes and a more present heart. Dolores Cannon called this spiritual realignment, a form of soul purification through the planet's natural vibration. Over time, you understand that it's no longer possible to ignore this calling. Your soul yearns for moments of pure contact, for silent exchanges with the earth. Simple practices like meditating outdoors, hiking, walking barefoot on the grass, or even growing plants at home become small healing rituals. And each of these choices reinforces your spiritual mission, because you become a channel of integration between the human and the divine, between Earth and the fifth dimension. And so, you realize that nature isn't just beauty, it's a portal, a direct gateway to the fifth dimension, where the soul is cleansed, energy is recharged, and consciousness expands. Dolores Cannon said that nature is the first teacher of the chosen, the one who teaches without words, heals without effort, and awakens without noise. And every time you hear this call, you draw even closer to your essence. Something magical happens when your high frequency stabilizes. You begin to attract different people. Dolores Cannon described this phenomenon as soul encounters, moments when you recognize someone without ever having seen them before. It's not imagination, it's the energy of the fifth dimension at work. The chosen ones experience this natural recognition as if they were pieces of a great puzzle, finding each other amidst the chaos of the old reality. And when this happens, the connection is so intense, it requires no words. You feel it in simple settings, an exchange of glances that seems to carry millennia of history, a quick conversation that resonates deeply. It's awakened souls reuniting amidst the planetary transition. Dolores Cannon said these encounters are programmed before incarnation, true energetic portals disguised as coincidences. You don't bump into someone by chance. Each encounter carries a message, a lesson, a nudge toward expanding consciousness. And over time you realize that shallow connections are losing their strength. You simply can no longer maintain empty conversations or relationships based on superficial interest. Your body feels it, your mind disconnects, your soul rejects. And that's where the difference comes in for the chosen ones. It's not arrogance, it's spiritual realignment. You begin to reach out to those who share the same vibrational frequency, creating healthier, more nourishing circles aligned with your new state of being. This process isn't just personal, it's strategic. Dolores Cannon claimed that the most powerful hidden signs manifest through people. Sometimes someone appears in your life and gives you the missing key, unexpected advice, a transformative book, an experience that allows you to see life from a new perspective. They are reminders that despite the apparent isolation, you were never truly alone. The fifth dimension is a silent network, uniting the chosen through the heart. And the most beautiful thing? These connections transcend time and space. Even from a distance, you feel the connection. A simple message can transform your day. A live stream, a video, or shared content can reactivate forgotten codes in your spiritual memory. Dolores Cannon said these encounters accelerate spiritual awakening because they reinforce the certainty that you're not crazy. You're just on a frequency few can reach. When you understand this principle, everything changes. You stop seeking approval from those who will never understand your path, and you begin to value those few encounters that nourish your soul. From then on, the awakening of the chosen ones grows stronger because you stop walking in the dark and start walking alongside those who vibrate in the same light. And it is in these connections that your mission becomes even clearer, more powerful, more alive. There comes a moment of spiritual awakening when you realize nothing you've experienced thus far has been by chance. Dolores Cannon always said that the chosen ones carry missions that remain hidden until their soul is ready to activate them. When you begin to vibrate in the fifth dimension, you begin to notice small signs that previously went unnoticed. Stronger intuitions, coincidences impossible to ignore, feelings of being guided by something greater. And in that moment, everything takes on new meaning. This spiritual mission isn't about external grandeur, but about vibrational impact. It's about being in the right place, at the right time, with the right energy. Dolores Cannon emphasized that many awakened souls don't make noise, but silently transform everything around them. You feel you can no longer live on autopilot, that your presence must have purpose, that your time must be honored, because your journey is an invisible pillar of the planetary transition we are experiencing. And precisely because it's invisible, it's not always understood. You may notice family members questioning your changes, friends drifting away, old environments becoming toxic. But now you see all of this as part of the larger plan. Fifth dimensional energy no longer fits into old structures. Discomfort is just the universe's nudge, showing you that your destiny isn't to survive, it's to help anchor the new earth with your own frequency. Simple practices begin to carry enormous power: a welcoming conversation, a kind gesture, a moment of silent presence. Dolores Cannon explained that for those who vibrate high, small actions have a multiplier effect. What seems simple in the third dimension becomes a catalyst for expanding consciousness in the fifth. Every aligned choice, every conscious thought, every purified emotion contributes to accelerating collective awakening. Over time, you realize that even in difficult times, there is a purpose. Pain has taught you, challenges have refined you, isolation has strengthened you, and now your soul in the fifth dimension doesn't seek recognition. It seeks coherence. It seeks to live in integrity with who you truly are. And it is by living this truth that you inspire without forcing, guide without commanding, heal without needing to explain. This is how the chosen leave their invisible legacy, one that spreads in silent waves throughout the world. And this legacy has already begun. Your very existence, your process, your struggles and achievements already influence those around you, even if you don't realize it. Dolores Cannon said this is the greatest proof of the quantum leap, when your life ceases to be yours alone and becomes a fundamental part of humanity's advancement. And you are exactly where you should be, fulfilling a silent but absolutely necessary mission for the construction of the new Earth. Now that we've walked through each of these hidden signs together, perhaps you're feeling something different pulsing within you. It's not simple curiosity, it's recognition. It's your soul in the fifth dimension, confirming that what you've always felt, that feeling of not fully belonging to this world, has always been a sign of your spiritual mission. And finally, everything begins to make sense. But I want you to reflect deeply. Which of these signs have you experienced? Do you also feel that old cycles are breaking? That your life has become disconnected from what once seemed fundamental? Do you realize that, amid the collapse of the old world, your consciousness is more awake, more sensitive, more aligned? These answers don't need to be quick, they need to be honest. Because recognizing these signs is recognizing your own strength. It's understanding that you carry within you the call of the new earth. And I want to extend an invitation to you. Tell me in the comments, what signs have you recognized on your journey? Also, share where you're watching from, because every story here is precious. Each account is a living confirmation that the awakening of the chosen is happening around the planet. Here, your voice will never be ignored. Every word is read, every journey is honored, because together we form a silent chain that is transforming the world. If at any point during this video you felt that inner click, that feeling that the universe's signals were finally being deciphered, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and stay connected, because here, each piece of content is created to help you maintain a high frequency, protect your peace, and reinforce your mission. We're not here to survive. We're here to awaken and anchor the energy of the fifth dimension, and do more than that. Share this video with someone you know who carries silent pain, who may be struggling with symptoms no one understands, who lives between worlds and feels alone, because sometimes a single message is enough to save a soul from oblivion. And remember, here you will never be invisible. This space is for you, for those who feel too much, for those who perceive the invisible, for those who live beyond the obvious. And I want to remind you, carrying this sensitivity is a blessing in disguise. You were not chosen for nothing. Your presence here is part of a greater plan. And each day you remain awake is a silent victory against the collective unconsciousness. Your legacy is being built, and together we are creating the new earth.